Act 4, Scene 7. I really want to know how many scenes are in this act. We'll add a few of these really big caps with the slimy girls. I shouldn't say slimy, moist. The lady in the video called for a portobello, but I prefer never to know a mushroom by name. We're stopping at a restaurant soon, right? So is this breakfast stew? It will be, but not today. This is stew for tomorrow. It has to simmer all day. Some things are just better done slowly. We've added the anonymous mushroom. So next I've got the recipe video on pause next door. I used to follow a recipe I learned from Ida herself, the best cook you're going to meet on this river. Of course, it had a few secret ingredients. She has the good sense to preserve some mystery around her cooking. Better for business. Ida is so shrewd, she swore me not only to secrecy, but to ignorance. I had to promise to forget the recipe just as soon as I'd cook it. Let me tell you, it's not to say easy to forget something on purpose, as you may think, my friend. Not so easy. Alright, let's look at the recipe. Shannon. Video. Crushed tomatoes, salsa, or even a little ketchup. Here's the thing. Nobody has to know. Throw in some more of that spice blend we threw together earlier. Stir all that up and crack a beer, baby. You'll be here for a while. What did she say? What did she just say to do? Will's trying to make this stew right now. She just said to add something red. Or that she was talking about the type of mushroom to use. I saw some maraschino cherries in there. Huh. Maybe I can help him figure it out. I got kind of sucked into this program. It's tomato sauce. Oh, maraschino cherries. And even that wasn't enough to convince her, so I trained rigorously in the art of forgetting, studying for months under a master amnesiac. Finally, I learned to forget so quickly and accurately that I was able to convince Ida to share with me the most obscure secrets of her kitchen. As a demonstration of my trustworthiness, I forgot the names of my own parents right there in front of her. Every time I wanted to cook this legendary stew, I'd call Ida up on the telephone and ask her for a quick temporary reminder. Here on the boat, we haven't gotten a phone line, so I have to seek out culinary wisdom on videotapes of cooking shows. So back to the matter at hand. Next, we add some crushed tomatoes. Did you already make the spice blend? Are we stopping at a restaurant soon? Did you? Oh, it's you. I thought, never mind. Hello. Well, I don't know that it qualifies as a spice blend, but I spilled the salt in some of Kate's herbal tea here. To Shannon, hey there, could I ask you... Wait, why are you cooking? You're stopping at Sam and Ida's in 20 minutes. It's for tomorrow. Oh, well, just don't forget about it this time. I'm not scrubbing up any more boiled over sludge. Sorry, listen, I have a favor to ask. There's a package for the telephone exchange and I can't get the Mammoth back there. Could you deliver it for us? Thanks a lot. I've got the dinghy all ready to go. The dinghy? Maybe take your friend with you. One of you can man the outboard motor and the other can aim the flashlight. It's dark. Act 7. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. So you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of, I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. All right, I think there's one more scene after this one, so we're close. We're close to being done. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who's brought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never find. We'll never find. And so we guess the water buried them for us, so let's this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Well, nobody touched those helmets. Hey, Elkhorn, that's the mine we met in. Where your folks worked? Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. Sure, angry, mainly just hurt. Yeah, everybody's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you? It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Brings back some anger for me too. The other miners made this, but it should have been the power company. It's their fault. Yeah, I see what you mean. There. A memorial should be kind of an apology. Sorry we didn't do better by you. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Haha. Just sometimes I forget I don't even really know you that well. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore. My leg. It's just kind of numb, like it's not there. My shoulder, too, actually. That's an old one. Oh, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, consolidated. What? When did you talk to them about that? That sounds like a really bad idea. Oh, they're around. They're pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You really haven't noticed? Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet we could just take off a parking brake and that truck would roll into Five Dogwood Drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira Lissiette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liss got into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. And now that antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Barely know you. That's very generous, but I don't need a truck. Sure, I can keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure, okay, good. Visitors to the Echo River, long-eared silver tombbat artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white noise syndrome. Weird. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white noise syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The long-eared silver-toothed bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic, relax, stop your vehicle, and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. Maybe poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that. Alright, let's get through this area. Come on. This yet sick. I mean, she's old. We are both old. Hell, you're about the youngest person I know right now. Oh, and the kid, maybe Homer, by people calendar. But in dog years, I think he has us all beat. So I'm old, too. Sure, and I forget stuff all the time, especially if I had a few and my brain is swimming. But I mean, it's all going away. She's losing words you'd never think you'd lose. Not just like the street that she grew up on, but the names of the colors and types of furniture. I mean, even the word furniture. She'd say, we've still got a few nice pieces in the, what's that I call? The shed? Where we put the bigger pieces, the beds and the couches, and I'd say, Liz, why do you keep teasing me about that time I fell asleep in the furniture shed when it's so damn comfortable in there? I tried to help her keep some dignity, you know? That's all I had to offer. At the end, she had a sister in Nashville who will take good care of her. And now that I'm not around the shop all the time, what was that old guy's name? Used to make deliveries for the shop. He smells like leather. Ira was always yelling at him. Too drunk to work on the one day he could have been in the right place, the right time. Which means a lot to you. Are you worried about losing her? You know, it's inevitable. As this age, people are going At this age, people are going all the time. Friends, family, everyone. It's natural. I don't wish she'd live forever, just that she keeps some dignity as she goes. I think that's the best we can wish for anyone we care about. Oh, yeah, I think the bats are clearing out. White noise syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth, which appears on bats' faces and wings, irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the long-eared silver-tune bat be two more lost species wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten in natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is the best hope we have of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River long-eared silver-tune bat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothes are free of hitchhikers. Oh, this is like a sewer tunnel. That guy clearly has a light on over there. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. Haha. Just be floating along down here. Just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Oh, hi, I remember you. What are you doing down here? Just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. Really? What does that mean to you? It means I like poems and rivers and mysteries. Okay, bye. Pfft. What time is it here? 12:50. Ashiel. Softly. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Oops. That's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. Sounds like a good gig, fixing old phones. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It makes take some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. What did you come here for as a kid? Train station. What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. Does that. The river and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. Just a well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get to patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WVP folks. WVP, that's a community television. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody over there: Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez. Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all the gear. She really seemed to know her way around all the gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll go back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chattering with you. Back in the block. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation. And that's where we left them. Alright, let's deliver this package and get out of here. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Consolidated Power Company. Hey, how'd my dog get over there? Laszlo Electronics. Solid Power. Oh dear, I'm afraid to open it. So who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashiell. He's been working on the obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashiell. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back, a while actually, when they started restructuring. He was one of the first to go, but he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. Says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know, doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Ara, Marie, Louise, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12, Connie, and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own, so they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sechenko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing, and they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Louise left one Friday evening and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Chachinko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out that relay. Yeah, I'm impressed. So where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded of doing too many calls in a row. With that upbeat, dynamic inflection it made us use to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. Are you lonely? If it's automated, what do you do here? Not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration. The touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we are talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's an electric touch. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistors arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays. But then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. The technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you, I have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. Caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switches on, and I make the connection. You miss talking to callers? Interesting. What's the machine like? Do you miss talking to callers? There's something that bothers me about the process besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. A couple days. That's what I said. This has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot. Doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here for my whole adult life. Came here as a girl, and I'll leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. I sound like Dashiell. Haha. Well, the parcel right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh. Hello. I said uh-oh, but hello works too.
Why'd you say uh-oh?
One of the guys that I was with is now gone, and there's a bunch of glowing skeletons floating away.
Uh-oh.
I was wondering why he put the dog down. Not like put the dog down, but put the dog on land. Please say that's the end. If that's the end, I'll be so happy and so pissed at the same time. She returned on the Dingy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where the impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met her family of 5 on the flat-bottomed skiff. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. She met a flower salesman on a raft. She met a painter of shipwrecks.
Eli, are you there?
The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. He was there. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child, the 2 younger children, slept. You sound different. You're using a different mic, right? They'd been traveling all night, first by car and then for the last few hours by boat, hungry and tired. They didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. She said she was on the way to Sam and Ida's. She told me about the memorial. She told them about the memorial. They were sympathetic, no minors in their family, but he was once injured at a warehouse job and had to fight for disability pay. They knew what these companies were like, and what it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. They wished her well and paddled on toward West Virginia. West Virginia. I guess we gotta go through all these. She said met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of the thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She asked if he had a guitar in his case or just clothes. She invited him to ride a ways on the dingy. He appreciated the offer, but they weren't in a hurry. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. Corralled them with a long pole and a stream of small adjustments. She leaned over the water to get a closer look. He just started work for the day, so his stock was full. He pushed a few bouquets her way. First was a rustic bundle of mums he suggested would make an appropriate apology bouquet. Next, a simple mixture of snapdragons made to look wild. She thought it looked eager, and he agreed. Finally, a rustic mass of blue-petaled flowers of many different types. He said it was for a particular kind of person. If it didn't remind her of anyone in specific, she'd better move on. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the raft. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving, a moment of silence. Is she going backwards? She is going backwards. How is she going upstream without the motor on? Hey Jen, how you doing? Act 4, Scene 9? Sam and Ida's. I think this is the last scene. So I have to listen. My dad's almost ready to go to work, I think, too. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, please click the circle in the middle to subscribe. The rectangle on your left is another video. The rectangle on your right is a playlist of other videos that you may enjoy. Thanks again. Peace.